as promised, we have something new for you, so check this out. So let me show you the AO SEFI Star. The AO SEFI Star is the most advanced broadcast and imprinting device on the market today in its class, in its size. This will hook up to the AO scan or to any other type of frequency generator or any other type of device you may have that generates a broadcastable frequency. Let me tell you a little bit about the SEFI Star. This here is a combination of development based on bioenergetics, radionics, subtle energy imprints, and even electromagnetic fields. So what this allows you to do is to be able to imprint any of your things that you would normally imprint, like homeopathic remedies, your energetic flower remedies, your SEFI dots, whatever. Now, the question that's probably coming to your mind right now as I'm telling you this is, well, I thought we already had that in the scanner. And you do. You have a really good imprint device already built into your scanner. But it's a simple device, and it's designed for basic imprinting. Now, how does that affect what you're already doing? What you have right now is perfectly fine and acceptable for everything that you're currently doing in printing, one-offs and this type of stuff. The SEFI Star will take it to an entirely new level. Let me explain a couple things. There's a lot of imprint devices on the market already that have little imprint plates that you run a frequency into and it imprints. Now you can do that on your device already, or you can do it on one of those devices, or you can do it on something like the AO SEFI Star. Let me show you a couple devices that are already on the market. This is one that we developed several years ago. Really simple, the audio from your scanner or any device that you're putting the frequencies from into here, and then you put whatever you want imprinted on top of this plate. And it's got several circuits already built in, it's all pre-wired. This is one we found in Europe. It's really nice design, really pretty and clean, kind of looks nice and sexy. Same thing, input your source and imprint. What we found when we launched the AO the scanner 5 years ago, and we were testing these different imprint plates, they weren't any more effective in imprinting than what you could do right off your device. Doesn't mean that these aren't good or the other ones on the market aren't good. It's just don't need them when your device does such a good job as it is. So then back to the question, why the AO SEFI Star? Well, the AO SEFI Star takes that signal and it runs it through 6 stages of imprint and broadcast. Now, let me put this into simple terms. If you were to send somebody a letter, write a note and send it to them, and you take that same letter and you put a copy of it in a DHL or FedEx and you ship it to them. You take it to a radio station and you have them broadcast your message over the airwaves. You pick up the phone and you call that person and you give them that same message. It's a pretty good chance whoever's on the receiving end is going to get that message because it came 5, 6 different ways. With these imprint plates and even off your device, you have one delivery system. And it's an intentional broadcast, which is powerful. And it works. You're all benefits of that so far. But if you're making lots of remedies, or you're doing a lot of imprinting, or you want to do more of that, or you have a practice where you're making homeopathic remedies or flower essences or lots of SEFI dots, then you might want to step up that to the SEFI Star, because it's going to, what the industry calls it, etch the frequency into the target, not just broadcast it. And let me tell you how that works. So on your device or on a normal imprint plate, you're sending out an intentional frequency based with an electromagnetic field coming from the device. And it works just fine. But when I can add to that 5 more unique but synchronized delivery methods, then your imprint becomes etched. And let me tell you how that works. So as the signal goes into the SEFI Star, the first thing it does is it goes into an amplification circuit where it amplifies that. Then it goes from that circuit into a synchronized splitter. And so keeping that waveform clean and synchronized, in between the amplification and that splitter is a filter, so that we don't pick up any noise or any other artifacts that we don't want in that frequency. Then that splitter sends that same signal to a magnetic induction, which is now forming that frequency into a magnetic field. It then also goes into an induction coil, a flat copper coil that is in sync with all the others, that's making just a straight electrical, not electromagnetic, but electrical field. And then the other one goes into an array of 12 blue LEDs that are again synced with that signal. So the lights just aren't on because there's power. The frequency is driving those lights. And one thing that's important to note, if you ever look at your remote control and you push a button, you don't see a light because it's infrared. But we know that the energy is coming from there because it will turn on or off whatever it's aimed at. These LEDs are the same. Some frequencies will illuminate, some won't because the range that they're going through. But that's the third way. The fourth, it goes into a small speaker. So now there's an audio component. Again, all of these are synchronized. Then the last one is this star-shaped coil on the top. This coil is sacred geometry. It's a tetrahedron shape. And as the signal goes into there, it's amplified 12 more times through the coil winding. So when we're taking that signal from the AO scanner or from a frequency generator or from a playlist that you've put on to some other device, that same information is going in, amplified, filtered, split, and going through 6 mechanisms to imprint whatever this is, or if it's a target, broadcast. So just to cap that up, you have your one signal or your matrix of frequencies that you've created or a playlist that you've made. And you decided this is one that you want to broadcast into or imprint into a lot of different things, or it's a broadcast that is really important to you that needs to get delivered and not get lost somewhere in the shuffle. Then this one here is going to do that because it's taking that one signal, copying it 6 times, amplifying it, and then in synchronicity, putting all of those energies into one point and directing it to wherever that is, whether it's the item that is sitting on top of the star or the target that you have in your device. This will broadcast the same. But instead of one signal, it's broadcasting 6. So when I come back to, do you need one of these? Not necessarily. You may want one more than you need it, and that's fine too. But this is something you need to determine. Am I utilizing that part of my scanner enough to where it justifies me to have the SEFI Star? So the practical uses for the SEFI Star are being able to make very powerful and solid imprints to whatever you're doing. For example, let's say that we're doing homeopathics or flower essences. In homeopathy, they'll take the source of the herb and they'll dilute it down so far to where there's not even a measurable trace of that left. And then they'll take that and they'll put it in with sugar pills. They'll take that diluted liquid and let it soak up on the sugar pills, and there's the frequency of that herb. The difference between doing that and using a SEFI Star or any type of imprinting electronically is that we're actually etching the frequency on to whatever that is, in this case, say sugar pellets, through an electronic process 6 times, 6 different ways. So in a lot of ways, that's a more effective, because really all they're doing with pouring a diluted liquid onto your sugar pills is the same thing as letting that frequency attach to whatever that is. Here, it doesn't have a choice of it to be attached, etched into that system. Now, you look at things, you can go out and buy frequency patches already on the market, or frequency bands and all sorts of things that you can purchase. But you can make those right here on your own device. You can make them on your phone. But a much more powerful device, or much more powerful imprint, can be right on your SEFI Star. And you start looking at how you can utilize your SEFI Star and how you can make these imprints that you're making so much more powerful and so much stronger. Where they're really going to shine is when you're shipping something. Let's say you've made it and you've shipped it. It's going to handle those fields of X-ray machines as a package goes through and it's being shipped. It's going to handle those and maintain that frequency etch much better than if it was just, an audio intent imprint. With all this explanation, let me demonstrate how you can see how much more effective this is. We're going to put this little vial with the magnet on top of the SEFI Star. The little magnet's right inside, and it's right over that whole energy field. And you're going to see that magnet just bounce and dance as those frequencies are coming through. And that's because of all of the energy that's coming and converging right here at this point. And it's the same as if we were to broadcast that out. One thing that cannot happen with these other plates on the market is you cannot see any physical activity in whatever you're broadcasting to. In the SEFI Star, we can. So let me show you that. Now, as you're watching that little bead bounce around and dance inside that little vial, that is the energy coming from the SEFI Star into whatever's being imprinted. You can see it. It's visible. It's tangible. The power of that is going into whatever you're broadcasting or imprinting to. It's powerful. So your newest tool in your toolbox may become the AO SEFI Star. Once you get your SEFI Star, let us know what you think of how it has changed the way you do your things, and see if what I've told you hasn't proven out to be just what I told you, a more powerful, a more obvious imprint.